Hey, what is up? Welcome to the Fan the Flames podcast for Friday, November 29th. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing well.
I'm Nate, that's Dan. We're here to talk about Flames. And Dan, I was wondering, any big Flame stories this week?
Flames has been all over the news for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I don't know, for a reason.
Well, it's definitely for the wrong reason. It's racist comments, punching players, kicking players. Not the Flames, just their coach.
Their coach. So, yeah, this started during the Pittsburgh game. A tweet was sent out calling out Peters' racist behavior. 2009, was it?
Yeah, about 10 years ago when he was coaching in the AHL.
Yeah. And then he did not coach for the following games. And was the breaking news? This just in.
Let's fire the cannon. Yeah, so
Bill Peters,
second coach of the year.
first time that Calgary had, or we fired the cannon for Calgary.
Yeah. And unexpected. 1 week ago, someone said we're going to fire the cannon for Bill Peters.
Yeah, I would never believed it.
Me neither. And
well, Trevelyan had already come out saying, like, the Flames aren't getting another coach. They've gone through too many.
yeah.
But I guess they are.
And, you know, at least the stories that have come out recently, like the tweets, one guy said he's the worst human being he ever met. And, you know, some of the stories about Bill Peters does not make him sound like a nice guy.
I've no strong affiliation.
Opinion?
No, affiliation.
I don't think that's a word.
That's
but,
not the word either. Anyways, I don't have a strong affinity for him, so I don't know. The guy turns out to be a racist asshole. So,
yeah.
Are you surprised?
Well, I'm surprised. Like I said, based on last week, what changed so much in 1 week. But once the story broke,
yeah, it had to go quick.
Yeah, it had to go quick, and you know, more because it's the NHL and they want to be inclusive. They have a lot of corporate sponsors. Yeah. It's just a bad look for the league if he kept coaching. So you knew he was going to get let go. I thought it might go on a bit longer just because of all the legal, details they had to work out, and who knows what type of deal they came up with in paying him. But he's fired, and that's that.
As we speak now, Brad Treliving's giving his press conference, and we don't know what he's saying, but I have a gist is something along the lines of this. We decide to cut ties with Bill Peters, and if you know for all the reasons, and he won't be coaching for us anymore. I can't go into more details, but that's about it.
Yeah. So, like, you know, I don't want to comment too much on, like, the racism or the abuse. Like, this is a hockey podcast, so I kind of want to focus on the Flames team.
Yeah.
So, my question for you is, how do you think this affects the team and their season? Is it is switching coaches actually going to be a good thing? Or do you think it's going to hurt them in the long run?
To be honest, from where they're at now, it can't get much worse. So I'm expecting it to go better for the Flames.
So you think this might actually improve the outcome of the season?
Yes, I do. But no matter what, I think the outcome of the season was going to improve from this point on. I think Flames are at their low point now, and everything else will be building up towards getting into the playoffs.
Because, like, usually, though, when you fire a coach, they say there's, like, the firing coach bump. So for a few games.
Yeah.
But usually when a coach is fired, it's because he wore out his welcome with the players. Like, Babcock was there 4 years plus 20 games. So it's a little different situation because Peters has only been here 1 year plus 20 games. So do you think we're going to get the bump?
I hope so. Yeah, I do. We had Jeff Ward So Jeff Ward's first game was against
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yes, which went overtime, but they lost. No, they won in the shootout.
But no, sorry, Jeff Ward's first game was Buffalo.
Yes.
Because Ward's only coached one game, I think.
Yes, you're right. Sorry. Pittsburgh was on Monday.
Yeah, and that's when the news broke.
Yeah. They played Wednesday, won.
Yeah, so it's
they
one
got
game.
the bump. There you go.
Against Buffalo. It's not exactly like we beat St. Louis or Tampa Bay or someone. It's Buffalo.
That's true.
But yeah, I guess we'll see. I think it's a good thing. I think just the way the Flames' attitude was and their demeanor, it did not look like a happy group of players. Like, you didn't see the purple drank. When Johnny scored a goal, he almost didn't cheer. Like, it just seemed very odd.
Well, he hasn't really scored any nice goals this year.
No, but you think if he hadn't scored in 10 games and he deflected one in, I thought, you kind of get the monkey off your back. Usually people celebrate, and he was just kind of like...
You celebrate for a nice goal, not a quick...
I'd celebrate for any goal.
Yeah. Yes, true that.
But for that reason, I think... And also, there's some players, like we talked about Jankowski, me and you, before the podcast. He has not been playing well. I think a big part might have been that he didn't mesh with the coach.
Yeah.
So maybe a new coach is good for him.
Get up under.
But then just on the flip side, Derek Ryan's been playing great. Yeah. How is he going to play under a new coach? The same? Worse? Like we just don't know.
He was Pierre's boy.
Yeah.
So, it's a good question. Right after the Pittsburgh game, the media were all over the Flames players asking, "Hey, what do you think of Peters? Do you ever hear this about Peters?" And you could tell, like, none of the players want to be there answering those stupid questions.
No, it's like you can't say anything wrong. Like, you just got to be very safe. Yeah. And especially, like most hockey players are Caucasian, and you maybe don't have a lot of contact with other ethnic groups or knowledge, so you just got to be very politically correct and safe. But I did love Milan Lucic's interview, specifically when he started to list all his black friends. Do you want to hear it?
All right, let's see.
I've had the chance to play with players from the African descent. Darnell Nurse is one of my good friends. Jerome McGinley was one of my idols growing up, and a guy that I was fortunate enough to be a teammate with in Boston, and played with Kendall McCardle and Junior and Evander Kane and those guys, and they're all guys that I got really along with. So
okay,
we get it.
Nothing to prove that you're cool with black people, like listing your black friends,
just naming all the ones you know in the NHL.
Yeah. But, awkward press conference. He did the best he could.
Yeah, understandable.
But anyways, to sum up the coaching change, I'm excited. I think we needed a change. Peters had a history of missing the playoffs. He missed the playoffs every year in Carolina. It did not look good for the Flames. I think it was a blessing in disguise for Calgary.
Really, looking back at his career, his year and a quarter, there was about... 4 or 5 months of some really solid hockey being played.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, that's about it, really.
Yeah, like the first 20 was not great. Games 20 to 60 were pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then the last 20 were not great again. Yeah. And this first 20 were not great. So in 100 great game sample size, it was about 40 good ones and 60 average to below average.
Yeah, so the Flames need to buck this trend and prove that their great play from last year is more norm than being the outlier.
Yeah.
So,
and if we look at the last 3 games, they got 5 of 6 points, 3-2 overtime win over Philadelphia, 3-2, was it 3-2 or 2-1 against Pittsburgh?
3-2.
Yeah, overtime loss to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then a 3-2 overtime win over Buffalo. So the results are pretty good, 5 out of 6 points. But do you think the Flames are actually playing any better?
We can start from that Pittsburgh game. No, because they played Philly first. Philly was decent.
I thought it was average at best. Like, it was...
Yeah.
It was not like a great game, but...
they hung in there. They scored to take it to OT.
Riddick with the horrible turnover, which he's done a few times this year.
And for away broadcasts, all the announcers are calling him out on it, hoping for that giveaway every time. That's part of his game. I can deal with it because other than that, he plays amazing.
Yeah, and all 3 games he played really well.
Yeah. But that Pittsburgh game, even though they lost, was a big turnaround for me. That was a solid effort all the way through. Maybe in the middle when Pittsburgh scored. In the second period, Pittsburgh took the upper hand for a bit.
Yeah.
But the Flames played strong.
I thought so too. The Flames played really well. And, the other teams are good too. You're never going to dominate the whole 60. So there's going to be some ebb and flow where the other team has a push.
We covered that. And then going into Buffalo, that was a nice win. They didn't play as strong, but they came away with the points in overtime.
Yeah,
a 3-2 score. Surprise, surprise.
I thought Buffalo, they played decent. Like, third period, Buffalo actually looked the more dangerous team. And there's still, I feel Backlund, he gets so many chances and can't score.
Snake bitten.
But,
there.
It was a decent performance, but Buffalo's not a great team either. So you got to kind of put everything relative to who we're playing. And that's kind of my perspective on it, because last week we had played Dallas, we had played St. Louis, really good teams. We did not look that great. Plus, we had bad puck luck. This week, a little bit better puck luck, not great, but more...
Easier opponents.
But yeah, much easier opponents, especially Philly and Buffalo.
Philly's... Every time Calgary plays them, they don't look like a good team, but they have a good record, and I think against other teams they play pretty good, or at least better than they do against Calgary.
They have a record, I think it's pretty similar to Calgary's. I'm not even sure.
No, they're like 30 points or something. They're at least...
Let me open it right now, and we'll check this. Because
all right. Well, while you're doing that, let me just tell you the highlight of the week for me was the first goal in Pittsburgh. It was the first time the Flames scored first in the first period in like 10 games or something like that by none other than who?
I don't remember.
Double D, Dylan Dubé.
Oh, yes, your man, Dubé. Pass
from Anderson, takes it to the net, good shot.
First goal of the year, I think.
First goal of the year.
Second of his career. Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, so good on him.
Just to get to the Philly thing now. Philly has a record 13-7-5, 31 points.
31 points.
So you're right.
A little bit in Calgary is 28 points.
Yeah, and Calgary's 12-12, so it's quite a difference that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't given any my...
Okay, fair enough. Philly's better than expected.
But one thing that Brad Treliving's probably saying right now that we should get into is Jeff Ward will be the interim coach.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet.
Yes. So we'll speculate they'll be looking to replace Peters with another coach. You got any ideas where that might come from? Coach Q's taken. I would love to have Coach Q.
I think actually they're going to stick with Jeff Ward for a while. That's my prediction is he's going to ride out
the season.
Yeah. Because I heard on sports radio some talk about Jeff Ward. He's coach of the year in the AHL as a head coach. He was coach of the year in Germany as a head coach. He was assistant coach for Boston when they won the Stanley Cup, and he was there 7 years. So he's got a pretty good resume.
A decent resume.
And when they were hiring coaches, and they hired Glenn Gultson, they actually interviewed Jeff Ward as a candidate for head